What's good, bro?
Shit, fucking nausea, heartburn, indigestion, upsets. These dudes make me sick, bro. Like, I'm just like over it. Like, luckily, this is gonna be a 2-hour show tonight. I'm just gonna talk about the Mets. Like, I'm just gonna lead Mets, and then I know I'm gonna get all Yankee calls.
A bunch of Subway Series shit too, probably.
Yeah, people hype. I'm definitely gonna get some Met fans that are hype leaning into. I mean, you got Stroman on the mound.
Ooh.
These guys are trying to get out of Canada right now.
That should be fun.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, like just side like that should be easy. I'm sure.
No, it's not. They gotta go through customs when they come back.
Exactly.
They gotta go through customs on the way out of there. Yeah. It's not an easy way out for the whole organization to come out of Canada,
especially now. I mean, the Yankees.
It's the holiday weekend.
Yeah.
A lot of people traveling. they probably get home. I gotta see. Let me see. I'm gonna tweet. Like, who's got that flight tracker account? Somebody. Let me be like, who's got the Yankees sports teams flight tracker account? Because I might be on by the time they land. Like, they might land tonight at 1:45 or something. It's not a long flight.
It's like 2 hours.
But to get everybody on the plane and then say, okay, we're out, and then get back to New York.
In Toronto too, it's not like you're in Milwaukee or some shit. Like, that is a
No, it is, and then the game is at 3 tomorrow.
Oh yeah, 3:30.
So they got to be at the ballpark. They got to be at the ballpark 11 a.m.
Yeah, so it's 12 latest.
11 a.m.
Yeah, and that's just landing tonight. You're not home when you land,
I'm gonna make a joke. They might as well just fly to LaGuardia and go straight to the ballpark tonight.
I mean, for real, honestly, get fucking a couple of hotel rooms over at the Marriott, over at the Holiday Inn real quick. Kick a couple of people out. Right?
Are you producing at 12?
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. And then Al's coming in. All right, good. So,
I'm here till 2. No,
I'll see you in a minute.
6.
Here. Oh, man. Let's get it. The Mets win. The Yankees get swept. And the next Subway Series is upon us. 888-808-1019. I'm glad this is going to be a quick one tonight. I'm glad I'll be done in about 2 hours and 9 minutes. I'm counting down the minutes. Keith McPherson on the fan, another KM to AM. And I am a Yankee fan, but I'm not a fan of what these guys are doing and what they're putting out there. So let's talk Mets. Let's lead off with the Mets, because if you know me, I always say to the victor go the spoils. You win, you go first. You win, you get priority. You get swept, broomed, and then sent back to America. Anyway, I mean, the Brewers were rolling, right? The Brewers come into town. They had won 4 series in a row. They were right there in the standings with the Mets. They had won something like 11 out of their last 14 games. David Stern's old stomping grounds, they were coming into Citi Field to avenge last year's postseason loss. No. Mother Nature decided to add an extra off day, which I definitely think helps the Mets, and a little rain delay, which obviously helped the Mets today. And the Mets grind it out, and they win a tight, gritty game today. The rubber match in Queens, the fans showed up. That place was rocking. You could hear "Let's Go Mets" chants all the way down here at WFAN. The Met fan was basically, patted on the back and called out by Brandon Nimmo yesterday when he hit the grand slam. Brandon Nimmo came out and said, it was palpable the energy in the place. And the Met fan had been waiting to get the energy back in the place because the Mets had the worst record in baseball since Friday the 13th, June 13th, right? We were coming up with all types of reasons and things and what was going on with the Mets since Friday, June 13th. And now the Mets are 31-13 at home. A Friday night in Citi Field. Citi Field is rocking. You gotta get it in tonight because the Subway Series is all day games. 888-808-1019. So back to Brandon Nimmo after he hit the biggest hit of the last few weeks. Some would say the biggest hit of the season, that grand slam off the Miz. He followed it up tonight. Brandon Nimmo, who last night I said, hey, leave him. Leave him at the top of the order. It didn't matter. They put Marte at the top of the order, and he comes through later. We'll get to that. But Nimmo, with that homer to right over Frelick's head again, in the second inning, it just lets you exhale. Okay, here we go. We draw first blood. We land the first punch. We're taking this game. We're taking this series. We're getting our mojo, our swagger back. And it was a tight game, but you know what you needed tonight? You needed David Peterson to stand up. You needed David Peterson to bounce back. And he did. He gave you 6 2/3, a 5-hit ball, 1 run, 1 earned, 2 runs, 4 Ks. A good performance. You know, earlier today, we heard a lot going around, you know, with the Mets and their arms. A lot of news coming out with the Mets and their arms, right? Daniel Nunez on the IL with a right elbow sprain. Paul Blackburn. And, you know, he's out now with a shoulder impingement. People asking about, hey, sending him back into Saturday's game after the 90-minute rain delay there. Like, maybe that did something to him. Daniel Nunez, they're saying, might need Tommy John. When it rains, it pours. The Mets do not have enough arms. And when you ask David Stearns about, hey, David, is now the time to call up some of these top prospects? He says, no, my preference is not to bring up any of the top prospects. So you can forget about Jonah Tong. You can forget about Nolan McLean or Brandon Sproat for now because they have a process. These guys are developing. They don't want them to have a spot start. I mean, honestly, with the way the Yankees are looking, that might be a soft landing spot. 888-808-1019. The Mets go and they grind it out. David Peterson holds it down. All you would need in this game after the Nimmo homer, small ball him, some singles. You know, Juan Soto coming through. Juan Soto is happy. Juan Soto is looking at the umpire and making faces. And Juan Soto is the player of the month in June, 11 homers. And you see Juan Soto hit those singles, and you know what's coming after those singles. The power is going to return. And he's looking to turn the tables, right? This is the second Subway Series. The atmosphere is not going to be like it was in the Bronx. Juan Soto is able to single and drive in a run. In that 6th inning, the Mets small ball him, and they put bat to ball. Simple as that. A game, you got to grind it out. And it's good to see the lineup work back-to-back nights after one little change. And you see Marte get a knock. Lindor get a knock. Soto get a knock. And then there he is, the polar bear, Pete Alonso. Almost hits one out, doubles off the wall to make it 3-1 Mets, and that would be the difference in the game. That run would be the deciding factor. That's all that they would need. Now, later in the game, obviously, you get Ryan Stanek in there. Ryan Stanek comes in, strikes out the side, and he is pumped up like Ric Flair. Whoa! He's punching the air. He's throwing up the horns. He's rocking out with the long hair flowing. Good for Ryan Stanek. And then Edwin Diaz is called on again, back-to-back nights. Sound him. That trumpet's gimmick, it still hits. The lights, the music, the S&Y shot, it's still a thing. And it's only a thing because Edwin Diaz is nasty right now. His 18 save, He comes in, but before he gets to that save, I'm watching the game and something happened that I never see happen with the Yankees. You know, you get in a little bit of trouble because Yelich singles and then he steals second. But they review it and they overturn it. And to me, watching baseball, watching the Yankees, if that review is for the Yankees, they say there's not enough evidence to overturn it. But, that umpire crew, they wanted to get on to their next city. They overturn it. That's an out. Rarely happens. Huge out. Great throw, great tag. And then Bryce Terang strikes out, put it in the books, ball game and series. Momentum has swung. It is not June anymore. It is July. Momentum has swung. The Mets are back in the New York groove. They win 2, and they're already at their houses. They're already kicked up, resting, ready for the day game tomorrow. When it rains, it pours. But you know what? I don't know if that's rain on my head. The Yankees keep pissing on my head and telling me it's raining. This is a good team. I believe in this group. This group can overcome it. Enough already. Enough already. There's so many little things that we see that, I can't take it anymore. And so I'm kind of just, logging off. I'm kind of just taking a step back. I can't listen to the postgame about, this group is equipped to handle this and overcome it. Where's it at? It seems like this group is equipped to feel bad for themselves, not overcome adversity, not have good at bats, do a lot of the same things. So quickly here before we break, the Yankees, they lost. They got broomed. They got swept. Embarrassing. You know why? Because the Toronto Blue Jays, they're alone in first place. And that's the first time they've been alone in first place in this division since September 5th of 2016. A year the Yankees didn't make the playoffs. But these Yankees, this participation trophy era Yankees, everything is hunky-dory. Everything is all right. Everything is rainbows and butterflies until it's not. So when the lineup comes out today, we all get a laugh because all of the conversation about Jazz Chisholm playing third base, he's in the lineup. Peraza's in the lineup, but Peraza's not playing third base. He's playing second. Peraza is a guy that they were supposed to cut or trade in the spring. I'm already up against it. I didn't even. I was just about to start cooking up on the New York Yankees. Peraza got dominated by Chris Bassett tonight. 3 strikeouts. What's the point of putting him in? And what's the point of putting him in at DJ LeMahieu? It doesn't make sense. Make it make sense, bro. You take Stanton out today after he finally homered, and then you want to pinch hit Stanton. Stanton has never been a good pinch hitter. It never works. Don't you have those numbers and those metrics? Or is it just my eyes? And I'm like, this doesn't work. This never works. Stanton's not a pinch hitter. And now Clark is probably going to be hurt, right? Clark is probably hitting the IL. But I don't know how many calls I took from Fanatics Fest Saturday all the way to Tuesday of that week about the Yankees robbed us of seeing history. No, they didn't. Clark was never going to throw. Come on. We'll get to it. I got a break already. Keep it fierce on the fan. It's about to be the holiday, July 4th. Let's smile. Let's have a grand old time. The Subway Series is upon us. I'll say good morning on the other side. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back. All right. I'm out of patience. I will get there when we try to find positives. Appreciate y'all, man. I say this every night, but it's a holiday. Y'all could be sipping somewhere. Y'all could be out partying somewhere. And you're here with me. About to hit 500. And I didn't even send this out on my gram yet. Let me do that, man. Promo. Listen, if you don't promote yourself, who will? Always be promoting yourself, your content, your brand, your business, whatever it is you do, and promote it like it's brand new. Promote it like no one's ever heard of it every single time. I could be off tonight, right? I could be home, kicked up, sleeping tonight. No, I'm here. I'm here, and I want it to be. So let's promote this, and then we'll get back into it. What's up, Michael? It's a short show tonight. If this was a 5-hour show, I would have time to comb through all of the little things. I'm just gonna quickly, rant and call out some things. Like the game started, and the first run that was scored, John Boyd put out a video. George Springer goes first to home, and he was a menace, absolute menace. But he goes first to home. That ball is hit. I'm watching it. That ball is hit in the gap in left center. Peraza is like right behind Volpe. Volpe's the cutoff man. The fact that they don't even try and make a play at the play. This guy's going from first to home. They throw the ball and completely miss the cutoff man. It is insane. I'm watching this video. I've watched this video so many times. I'm like, okay, Volpe is clearly a cutoff guy. Peraza goes to back him up, but Peraza, who doesn't play, gets so close to him. They don't throw it to either one of those guys. Jazz ends up with the ball. Listen, I stopped playing baseball by the time I was like 13. I don't claim to be baseball savant. I don't claim to be Johnny Baseball. I don't ever act like I'm like Evan Roberts. He knows everything about baseball. He tells you, Judge should be batting lead off. He's got all these, schemes, and I don't ever get that deep. But that right there, like that's simple as hell. And this is the New York Yankees trying to not be swept. And the first run of the game is scored. Tell me you're not serious. Tell me you're just going through the motions. Tell me you're not ready to play. Tell me you're not ready to play. This throw from the outfield doesn't go to anybody. Jazz is by third base and just reaches down and picks up a slow roll. Like, how the hell do I get the ball? And Springer, if I'm Aaron Boone, I'll talk about it.
Good morning at 12 o'clock. I'm Marco Belletti. Well, there's a new sheriff in town in the American League East. Blue Jays complete the 4-game sweep with an 8-5 victory over the Yankees. George Springer continued to torture the Bombers, going deep twice, drove in 4. This is the first time the Yankees have been swept in a 4-game set in Toronto. That is a span of 28 series. At worst, Clark Schmidt forced to leave after 3 innings, right forearm tightness. Jason Dominguez, a forehead night. Trent Grisham went deep, but that's now 14 losses in 20 games. Yankees are looking up at the Blue Jays in the AL East, 1 game back. David Peterson, his best start in a month, 1 earned over 6 2/3 as the Mets trim the Brewers 3-2. Brandon Nimmo went deep. Juan Soto, the go-ahead RBI single, while Pete Alonso doubled in a run, and Edwin Diaz shut the door for his 18th save. 71 degrees, clear skies, Central Park. That's what's happening. I'm Marco Belletti.
Good morning, go! Morning. Yo, happy 4th of July. Let's have a good time, man. I mean, the Yankees are not allowed to have a good time, but we're allowed to have a good time. We don't play for the Yankees. We don't go out there and let George Springer go first to home. No play at the plate. 2 cutoff guys missed. Like, that's how the game started. Tell me you're not serious. Tell me you're not serious. Aaron Boone, you're the manager of this team. Tell me you're not serious about managing the team, because that's the type of energy that they started with. 888-808-1019. Keep McPherson on the pen. It's better to talk about the Mets. SNY Mets is putting up pictures of purple skies over Citi Field, and that gives them a reason to bring Grimace back. Let's go, Mets. Michael is in Tom's River on the fan first. Go for it, Mike. Good morning. I'm all right. Go Hawks. Okay.
Of the season. Do you want to trade your future for right now? But your right now isn't guaranteed. So I want to see what you think about that.
Yeah, I don't know. We're getting close to the trade deadline, but we're not there yet. We are now 4 days into the month of July, and I feel like right now is the time where everybody is making their decisions and takes on what needs to, and we do kind of got to reel it back in a little bit. As far as the Mets are concerned, I think when you see David Stearns meet the people and speak, like, I'm waiting for Brian Cashman to step up and speak. Perfect timing coming up here at Citi Field. You should be close by. Like, I think you should be reassured that if this guy is telling you, like, hey, we're not calling up any young guys, and the amount of transactions and moves that the Mets make, it's the same thing I've said about David Stearns from day one. He is in the passenger seat grabbing the wheel. He is never just sitting in the car watching the car crash. He sees that it's baseball and it's not going the right way, but I guarantee you he's working on it and he's got a plan, and there's help on the way. They're going to go trade for some major league arms. I don't know who they are, but they're not going to let this thing just fall apart. Thanks for the call, Michael. Sean Manaea is on the way back, and I don't know. I think you have the right president of baseball operations that understands. Like, you have some really good hitters on this team. You have an owner who wants to win. They're not going to let this ship sink. So just stay the course. The Mets have 50 wins. The Mets have all the vibes right now. If the Mets sweep the Yankees, which is like literally on the table, obviously advantage when we're talking pitching, advantage Yankees, because you'll have Rodon and Fried in this series. But we've seen both Rodon and Fried get got, and crazier things have happened. And momentum is a lot. One of the things I was looking for during the break, the Yankees, and I said, like, they're flying back from Toronto, and they got to be ready for this day game. It is now tomorrow. Shout out to John Brophy, because I was like, yo, who's got the team flight tracker? John Brophy, who works down there in Tampa with them, messages me, and if this is correct, and this is the correct aircraft, their scheduled arrival time is 12:38 a.m. Scheduled departure was 11:25 p.m. after the game. Scheduled arrival time in New York is 12:38 a.m. So you do the math on them getting back to the city and getting back to their by 1 o'clock, let's say, and they're not able to just jump off the. Let's say these guys go to bed or get back to their homes by the time this show is over at 2 a.m. Then they got to wake up and turn around and get to the ballpark. They're going to be feeling sorry for themselves after getting broomed by the Toronto Blue Jays, and Clark Schmidt being hurt, and Marcus Stroman is on the mound, and they seem to not be able to find a way. You know what they'll find a way to do? They'll find a way to sit Jason Dominguez. I guarantee you. Well, I won't guarantee it because, like, what you just saw from Dominguez tonight and what you saw from Dominguez in this entire series, get that kid going. He competes, and he's a difference maker, and he brings something to this team that the Yankees desperately need. You can't just roll into Citi Field tomorrow and say, okay, Judge in right, Trent Grisham in center, Bellinger in left. But I think they will because that's what they do. The Yankees believe what they believe. The Yankees will cool Jason Dominguez off just because he had a 4-hit night tonight, his first triple tonight, some competitive at-bats tonight. Here's the good news, right? Volpe didn't leave all the men on base. But here's the bad news. Still had some terrible at-bats. Still had some head-scratching at-bats that just make you say, what are we doing here? 2 RBI, right? A ground out, and then he blooped one. But, man, when he swung at that ball outside, I'm just like the at-bats are terrible. Have an at-bat. See some pitches. Stop being so eager to do something with some of these off-speed pitches that are just like, that's not it. Who is talking to him? Who is working with him? And you know what? Speaking of talking and working, Boone and Brad Ausmus and Matt Blake, these guys are talking and working the umps. So don't expect any favor from them. Don't expect any favor from them. Late in the game, early in the game, you're not getting any favor. They want to get up out of here. Let me take the calls, man. I could talk about it all night. The Yankees being swept and how they got swept and how, again, they just look like I can't give you a participation trophy for fighting back. I can't give you a pat on the back for effort that you didn't get shut out and you made it a game. George Springer went completely off. I hate that guy. From him being an Astro to now. Like, they might as well put him in the All-Star game from what he did in this 4-game set. 8 for 14 with 4 homers, 11 ribbies, 4 walks. He dominated the Yankees. This is a kid that went to UConn. This is embarrassing. It is embarrassing. And you know what else is embarrassing? The rest of the league will take the formula of putting up those 4 fingers like John Schneider did. It's simple. 4 fingers. He should have walked Judge every single time. And Judge, passed Mickey Mantle for some type of, I don't even care. But, yeah, they're going to keep intentionally walking Judge because they're like, you know what? This team isn't good enough to beat us. And no matter where you put Judge in this lineup, we're eventually going to get to Volpe. No matter where you put Judge in this lineup, we're eventually going to get to Austin Wells. No matter where you put Judge in this lineup, the rest of these guys got to beat us. And they can't. And so I don't want to hear any more about this group and overcoming it. This is a different group. This is the first year these guys are playing together. And they still consistently leave guys on base, 2 for 14 with runners in scoring position. And 12 left on base. Oh, here's some more good news. Jazz didn't have an error at third. No error at third. Trent Grisham was back in the lineup. He homered. I don't know, man. There is no bright side to getting swept. There is no bright side to another starter going down. Clayton Beeter, welcome. But as soon as Clayton Beeter's in the game, it's like, come on, man. This rookie is thrown into the middle of the game. Luke Weaver is not the same guy. Luke Weaver has turned into the guy that was easy to claim for Cashman to find. Luke Weaver, I don't know. I don't know if it's the hammy. I don't know if it's, being the closer, not being the closer. His fastball is appetizing now. That fastball is flat, it is hittable, and he's been getting rocked. He has not looked good here, and that is alarming. This Yankees bullpen is trash. Would they give up 18 runs or something? I think I have a stat in my note. They gave up 18 runs in 13 innings. This is bad. You should be sounding the alarms. You shouldn't be talking about, these things happen and it's 162. No. Not like this. Neil is in Irvington, back on the fan. Neil, I got to give you your credit, bro. 2 weeks ago, I didn't want to admit it. I didn't want to believe it. I didn't want to think it. You have the floor. You called it. You were right. They are better than the Yankees. The Blue Jays they outplayed the Yankees and beat the Yankees' ass in every kind of way possible and took first place from them.
Hey, Keith, my man, first happy holidays to you, brother, and you and your family.
Enjoy the holiday.
Yeah, got to, Keith. Look, let me tell you something. The Yankees, My nephew tell me, I'm gonna ask you three things. My nephew tell me, Uncle, will you have a heart attack? Keith, I think the Yankees, diehard Yankees, I think they should go 162-0. When they lose a game, I get pissed. But you had a chance to get Jerry Springer. I said Jerry Springer.
Jerry Springer might actually get us some outs out of the bullpen. See if he's available.
Look, chance to get Springer for Volpe? Was that true?
Nah, I don't think there was ever a trade on the table. Springer signed with the Blue Jays as a free agent, and they were never going to get him.
Okay. Now, one more question, Keith. They go back to Toronto again. He's got a chance, though. You know, I don't put him down. I'm just mad at him.
Of course they have a chance. But come on, we're not talking about October. We're not talking about, this isn't finite. We're talking about right now. Thanks for the call, Neil. We're talking about right now. These shows are daily and nightly. We react to what we saw today and tonight. And what I saw today was a team that, with their backs against the wall, on the verge of getting swept, didn't start the game with the right energy. John Boy put out that video, and Chris Kirshner tweeted it out too. If you go to my Twitter, @Keith_McPherson, I'm just sitting in my living room like you talking about the way you feel. We all feel like that. We all feel like the Yankees are supposed to win every game. You know why? Because they tell us we're the New York Yankees. We're good. And, all this other stuff. So one of the first tweets that I put out that I just was like, shake my head. I said, yeah, we're good. We're prepared. We're ready to compete and win on opposite day. Chris Kirshner writes, I do wonder if they may have had a play at the plate, but the Yankees missed the cutoff. And when John Boy put that sky view video out, I have watched that video so many times. I'm like, what happened here? What happened here? Between Dominguez and Grisham and then Peraza backing up Volpe, where Peraza backs up Volpe to the point where he's like 5 feet behind him. And then they completely miss the cutoff, and it goes to Jazz. And I'm just like, if I'm Aaron Boone and I'm the manager, I got to talk to all of them about that. In the moment, I got to be like, what the hell are you guys doing? On a fly ball to left center, and I know Springer is fast and he's going whatever, but I'm like, that's how the game starts, bro. It's just bad vibes, bad energy, and that led into more bad energy. Chris Bassett, tip your cap to him. He went 113 pitches tonight. Like I said, he owned Peraza, but you just had to put Peraza in the lineup. And that's another thing, too. Pre-game, when we learned that Peraza is in the lineup, they ask Aaron Boone about it. It is getting to levels of just you got to laugh it off. Insanity. Boone said that Peraza is at second instead of third base because he didn't want to just move them back and forth and do that necessarily in that form of fashion. Excuse me, what? Peraza moves back and forth from the bench to the lineup twice a week? And he is available to play second base, third base, maybe shortstop? He's not a hitter at all. Before we went to the break at 12, I said, I vividly remember the conversation around Peraza because Pablo Reyes was going to make the team. The conversation around Peraza was, this guy's not going to make the team. He's out of options. He's going to be DFA'd or traded. Well, you can't trade him for anything. The kid is not a major league hitter. You could see how overmatched he was against Bassett. Bassett, looking at him like, please. But what are the Yankees doing? This goes back to my rant the other day, and I saw WFAN made the quote card. We're all waiting for them to get serious. We're all waiting for them to get serious about the roster and personnel. And then earlier today, you learn, and I don't take this stuff serious. I don't know what these guys are going to be. CJ Alexander and Nicky Lopez. Okay. So the Yankees bring in former Chicago Cub Nicky Lopez. He played second, third, and short this season. He played 45 games at shortstop last year. He's got a lifetime 621 OPS, Gary Phillips writes. Oh, all right. He's a Gold Glover. Well, fast track him. And then also, I got the alert that the Yankees claimed infielder C.J. Alexander off waivers from the Los Angeles Dodgers. Because, the Dodgers are always cutting guys, sending guys. You know what the Dodgers do? If you can't cut it, we don't need you. And you'll be here today, gone tomorrow, because we're always looking to improve and get better. We don't let guys continue to be under average. We don't let guys continue to damn us and come up in big spots and strike out or pop out and have weak at bats for the sake of, we love them. We love them. These are our guys. That's where we're at with Peraza. That's where we're at with Volpe. You're going to continue to watch these guys play, and the Yankees are going to tell you, you stop it. You stop it. These are our guys, and we love them. And they're young. They're going to develop. They're not that young. How old is Pete Crow Armstrong? Go look at the All-Stars. Jacob Wilson. There are 23-year-old All-Stars in this league. Enough with these kids being young. And let me take calls because I don't have enough time tonight. I don't have enough time. Ray is in Hell's Kitchen on the Fan. What's up, Ray?
Hey man, how you doing tonight? I just want to make some points. I'm a diehard Yankee fan for many years. Struggled in the '80s. We talk about Horizon. Wayne Tollefson, Avro Espinoza, Randy Velotti were 1,000 times better than these guys. These guys should not be on the field. The Cashman again today with his joke picking up his waiver wire guys were terrible, like he did with the outfield the other day. This team, and even Boone, there's no consistency. The defense is horrible. Last night we saw where Goldsmith couldn't make a throw to second base, where he had the guy dead in his tracks. He could have made the play, made the tag, doesn't make the. There's no consistency. There's no average, and we go through the same thing over and over again. They can't hit in the clutch. It was like the one thing where Jazz was bunting in the one game. It's like they don't do that in the 10th inning when there's nobody. There's guy at second base. It's the same crap. It's over and over again. We got no bench. Judge, I don't know why everybody just doesn't walk Judge. There's nobody behind them. Now they're going to learn. Oh, they're going to learn. Because even Toronto's coach learned a lesson the last night where he finally decided to pitch them. And Judge, this team is so bad and Boone is so bad. This team, it's like there's nobody pays the price. It's just like, okay, guys, you can do what you want. He blows his bubbles. I'm sick of it. And if IKF is the answer for the Yankees, I will not watch the game. And I'll be honest, I really think the one trade they should make that can help this team a lot, and they're going to definitely dump salary, and it was a guy who wanted to play shortstop, go get Corey Seager and go after DeGrom.
Thanks for the call, Ray. 888-808-1019. Correction. I am just thinking about 100 things, and I am not well. The Yankees had claimed C.J. Alexander from the Athletics 3 weeks ago. Non-factor. It's the Dodgers who just claimed him. So as I'm going through my notes and somebody in the chat alerted me, you got that backwards. What I meant to say was the Yankees got this Nicky Lopez cat. We'll see what he turns into. But the Dodgers and the way that they do things, don't be surprised if C.J. Alexander somehow turns into something over there. But his little cup of coffee with the Yankees, here today, gone tomorrow, nothing really went down. But I don't know, man. I'm just like, I'm so done with like this version of the Yankees. I'm so done with like their brand of baseball, the product that they consistently put out, and then they just tell you it's a bad stretch. It's not a bad stretch. I'm also done with the people telling Yankee fans that we're overreacting and that we need to relax and like we're making a big no. It is years of this. It is years of this. The Yankees are in second place now. They just got swept by the Toronto Blue Jays, and this is the type of like thing with the Yankees that has gone on for this whole era. You can call it the Aaron Boone era. You can call it the last 5 years, 8 years, 16 years since they've been able to win a World Series. And even if you go back to 2009, that World Series, how did they win that World Series? The team was absolutely stacked. They added some players going into that season where it was like, of course, they got to win. So much talent. And it's crazy how far from then we got to now where like Peraza is in this lineup. DJ LeMahieu plays. Volpe, it's over as far as like there's nothing we can do to act like he isn't in a terrible one. He's leading the league by a lot now, leaving runners on base. His at-bats are non-competitive. They're like, it's mind-boggling. And it always falls on him. Ben Rice is not able to get it done the night after catching and essentially not being able to block the ball with Devin Williams. It seemed like that carried over. Ben Rice had some bad luck. He always has bad luck. He's not effective. They take Judge out of the game. Belly puts bat the ball. Late in the game, Belly gets hit by a pitch, but they say he swung. And like I said, you're not going to get the benefit of the doubt because you're always barking at the umpires. It's the Yankees versus the umpires. So you got to beat the team and you got to beat the umpire crew. And you're not a good enough team to beat the team across from you. So where do they go from here, man? I don't know. They go into Citi Field, and I hope that something happens in this Subway Series where they wake up today. Something happens when they realize it's New York versus New York. These Met fans, like, they have their turn now. You're in their building now. It will be far more of them because the way that this is set up, like, you couldn't pay me to go to Citi Field this weekend. And I've been at the Subway Series the last few years. 21, 22, 23, 24. It's falling on July 4th. I'm going to be in the pool with my baby tomorrow. I'm going to be somewhere trying to get some grill food, kick back for the whole weekend. I'm not going to Queens to watch these guys in person frustrate the hell out of you. 888-808-1019. Something's got to change, man, and it's not going to change. Newsflash. I see people talking about them firing Aaron Boone. I don't know why y'all do that all the time. They're not firing Aaron Boone. I see people talking about who they got to trade for. Even the last caller suggested they trade for Corey Seager. Come on, yo. Jacob DeGrom. DeGrom's not waiving his no-trade clause to come back to New York. He's good right where he is. And again, let me remind you, there are 29 teams and the New York Yankees. There are 29 teams versus the New York Yankees. They are not lining up to send you good players. And you need a lot of help now. Obviously, you need a third baseman. And today, John Heyman did a live and wrote an article. And everybody obviously knows that the Yankees are in the market for a third baseman so they can move Jazz back to his natural position. And the usual suspects are out there. IKF, whose name has already come up, Ryan McMahon, Key Brian Hayes, Luis Rengifo. Okay. What are they going to charge, though? What are those teams going to charge you? Like, they're starting with your top prospects. So it's not going to be as simple as, oh, yeah, we'll take this guy off your hands. Cashman does not get fleeced. He's not going to get finessed. And now you need a whole revamped bullpen. Who do you feel confident in coming out of this Yankee bullpen? Devin Williams? Luke Weaver? Mark Leiter Jr.? Let's go to John and Bayonne on the fan. John, you're live.
Oh, Keith. Yeah. You make my day because I'm an old Yankee fan, 66 years old when it comes down to. So I've been through it. But I'll tell you right now, if George was alive right now, he would have been gone at least 5 years ago. Cash would have been gone.
It would have never got this far. It would have never gotten this far.
Right. Okay. So here's what the problem is. You got to bring in baseball people. Joe Torre making the GM, bringing Joe Girardi back as the bench coach. Things like that. And you have to sit John Flaherty or David Cohn next to Joe Girardi and groom them to be the next coherence. This is too long.
John,
15 years.
The thing is, this is Brian Cashman's organization, and they have to work in collaboration with him in the front office. So if we think that these old school, old-timey, traditional baseball guys are going to come in and Cashman's going to say, you got it. Yep. I'm going to take a step back. It's not going to happen.
Well, listen, the other day, I'm driving by, and I'm watching that GameStop store, and the people around the corner getting videos and stuff. I drove through the streets. Nobody's playing stickball. Nobody's playing punchball. And one of your, I don't even want to go there, said stickballs was in the 50s. I was playing in a league, pitching in a league with tennis balls in the 2000s, okay?
Okay.
So what it comes down to, stickball is stickball, punchball is punchball. That's the good old wiffle ball and all like that. We don't see that no more. They're standing in the line for video games.
Times have changed. The game has changed. And the Yankees have changed. 888-808-1019. This is not the Yankees that you grew up with, John, being 60-something. This is also not the Yankees that I grew up with being 30-something. Those Yankees would stop the bleeding. Those Yankees would die out there before they lose 4 games in a row in Toronto with a team on their ass to take first place from them. These guys, the participation trophy Yankees, it's okay. We'll get them tomorrow. Keep McPherson on the fan. It's already tomorrow. It's July 1st. July 1st. July 4th, the holiday. Call me up. We'll be right back.
The Yankees take the 7 train to Citi Field.
Yo, so I don't know if the mic was working in the beginning. I don't know. My head is spinning, bro, because I just hate this situation that the Yankees are in because they put themselves in it, and it doesn't seem like there's any end in sight. I had somebody message me today, and they're like, yo, how do you do it, man? How do you go host the show after all? I'm like, I don't know. It ain't no fun. It ain't no fun. But really, it's because I got this live stream, and I got people in here. So, I mean, I'm showing up for y'all, to be honest, because I know if I fire this camera up, and I'm so messed up tonight, I didn't even bring my camera. I didn't bring my camera up so I'd be further back. I'm like, I'm on the built-in camera tonight. This camera's too tight. You can't even see the physique. Hold on, you can see the physique. Oh, you can. It's not as 4K. It's not as 4K, but you can see it anyway. You can see that. You can see that. I gotta, bring some levity to the situation. I don't play for the Yankees. You feel me? They're trash. They're trash. And this isn't just a random stretch here. This isn't just this too shall pass here. It's compounded. It's compounded. So, yeah, I've been switching back and forth with the mic. I don't know. I thought I was muted before. But, yo, Nick, thank you. Because I had a little note about C.J. Alexander, but I just said it backwards. The Dodgers claimed him from us. But the Yankees got Nicky Lopez. So let's see what happens with Nicky Lopez. We are the laughingstock of baseball, but yet the Yankees carry themselves like they're the class of baseball. They were. When they won 3 in a row, they were. That was 25 years ago. I just gotta let people go when they just throw. We're gonna. First off, like Corey Seager, hasn't Corey Seager been hurt? Okay, Corey Seager is back, but I feel like Corey Seager is always out. I'm not paying attention to the Rangers. I know DeGrom has had some good outings recently, but that doesn't have anything to do with us. The Rangers aren't trading us Corey Seager or Jacob DeGrom. Volpe needs to be sent down. Yeah, at least he's got some Instagram followers off that. Will you still go to the stadium and support during this stretch? You seem to be more of a fair weather that only shows up when they're on a heater and will bail on a team like the Nets completely. I got free tickets. I got media credentials. I was at the Yankee game Sunday. I don't know the next game I'm going to. I'll go whenever I want to go, and it has nothing to do whether they're winning or losing. It's if I'm going to rock with the gang. As far as the Nets, I definitely stopped going to Nets games. I went to one last year. I went to more Devils games than Nets games. But also I made that decision because I work nights, right? So if I go to the Net game at night, I got to go to Brooklyn, and then I got to be back here to do the show. I also have a young child at home. So, like, sometimes daddy just wants to be home for dinner time, bath time, story time, bedtime. So you might think it's all about fair weather and all that other shit. Like, no, I actually, am a human being, and I make decisions based off of my life more so than wins and losses. I don't know if that's too much for you to grasp. Volpe needs to be traded or sent down. Yeah, I think it's time. But, I do they think they're going to completely lose him? Is Devin Williams tipping his pitches again? No, he's yanking pitches. He's throwing balls in the dirt. He's all over the strike zone. He folded. I like Salicata's take on Volpe with how they threw him right from the kiddie pool in the deep end without a floaty. Yeah, and I think I'm gonna star this. Yeah, I could have taken off. But who would they have put here? Probably a Met fan. And then you would have probably had back-to-back Mets fan. You probably would have had Gallo or EJ into Al Cintron. So you got me instead. All right, let's switch the audio back and get back to the phones.
Okay, Zoo. You are now in the mix with DJ Big Zoo-Wop on the Fan.
They're trying to get you onto that summer barbecue dance vibe. And you should be. I know the Met fans are dancing. They're probably still at Citi Field dancing around right now. But no Met fans call me. So you Met fans sit back and enjoy these Yankee tears. I'm going to talk to the Yankee fans tonight. Nick in the chat says, Keith, thank you for working tonight. I needed this Yankee therapy. We've been having Yankee therapy for weeks. And that's the thing. I don't want to hear any more about like this too shall pass. This is just a rough stretch. We're just going through. This is too long. You just got swept. You might get swept again. This needs to be fixed. We need actions. We need change, drastic change. I don't know. Somebody call me up and give me some ideas. Let's go down to AC. Harold is in Atlantic City on the Fan. What's up, Harold?
What's up, Keith? Let me talk to Positive Keithy for a minute.
Yeah, let me turn into Positive Keithy. No biggie.
And holler at Positive Keithy.
Yeah, this is nothing. This team is so good. This team was in the World Series last year, and you know what? They're going back to the World Series. We just got to lose a bunch of games and change our projections to win 85 games this year. And you know what? They'll be a wild card and they'll get hot and they'll run all the way to the World Series and win it this year. Don't make any vacation plans for October.
That's a little bit exaggerated, but let's forget about the fact that we got swept. Let's forget about the fact that we lost the division lead. It's early July. So let's put it in perspective. And let's inventory the things that were good. Let's talk about it. Like Jason Dominguez, even in a losing series, this is the Dominguez I've been waiting to see since he came up.
Balled out.
He's been a beast this whole series. I'm happy as heck that Grish is back. Grish came back. He wasn't supposed to come back.
We dodged one.
He came back healthy.
We dodged one. We can't afford another injury. We thought he had a hammy like he had in the spring. He came back in homer today. You're right. Keep going.
Came back. It worked. The pitching has been good, but they can only sustain so much not hitting. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not going to put it all on War, and I'm not going to put it on the bullpen. These guys attack. And we're going to go into this. We're going to go to Citi Field tomorrow, but they're as bad as we are. And Toronto was hot before we got there.
Yeah. They were below 500 like a month ago, and they just went on a run. Yeah.
And let's talk about John Carlos Stanton. Stanton got a home run. Judge had a couple clutch hits. Jazz was pretty good in this series.
Clutch today. Yep. Jazz came up clutch today. Belly's got a 9-game hit streak. Can I get
some Positive Keithy? Let's go, baby.
Yeah, you're right. I'll take it from here. Positive Keithy now. You know, I do think that there is something about baseball that is unpredictable. There is something about baseball where, like I said, if the Yankees are supposed to, as I look at the clock, they're supposed to be landing right about now. Let me go to Twitter and try and follow up on this like flight tracker stuff. They're supposed to be landing right about now. You know, there's a chance that they might get into some type of car service and hear Keith McPherson talking. So let me be positive right now. The way baseball works, it's unpredictable. And the Mets grinded out a win tonight, but that has nothing to do with what happens. Or last night, that has nothing to do with what happens tonight, the 4th. There's something about it being a holiday. There's something about it being New York versus New York. It's something about the Subway Series where, you know what I did say? In the past years, I don't think the Yankees took the Subway Series seriously. I think they're going to take this seriously. I think they're going to step up. So it's TBD who's going to pitch for the Mets, but I think they're going to be doing bullpen games, right? I think they're going to end up throwing a couple bullpen games this weekend. That the Yankees should feel like they have the advantage. Montas will go tomorrow against Rodon, but Sunday, I think also is TBD. So the Yankees should feel like, okay, we've got, like, Stroman had a pretty decent outing. Stroman is a former Met. Stroman's a Long Island kid, a New Yorker. He's got to be ready to stabilize this thing, and we got to hit. And you know what? Not for nothing. It isn't like the Yankees had a scoreless inning streak through this sweep. It isn't like the Yankees didn't hit home runs, didn't have extra base hits, didn't drive runners in. They actually did that. The pitching didn't hold. The starting pitching, the bullpen didn't hold. So if their bats are going and they know that, they got to carry that into Citi Field. 888-808-1019. We cannot just say, okay, well, the Mets beat the Brewers, who have been here sitting in New York, like, you know, they just were bound to lose one. With the doubleheader, like I said, Mother Nature played a hand in how that series shook out. But for the Yankees, it's like, okay, you need to get right. Get right against your crosstown rival, New York versus New York. Maybe seeing Juan Soto will do some. Clay Holmes will do some. Carlos Mendoza will do some. You know what I'm saying? Some familiar faces in batting practice, right? Maybe the quick turnaround where you don't have any time to sulk. Maybe that'll do something. Maybe getting out of Canada, coming back to America on July 4th and seeing how happy and excited people are. And, you know, 3:30 or 3:10 start, they've got enough time. Go home, sleep a little bit. But actually, I hope you don't sleep. I hope you come to the stadium wired. I hope they come to the stadium wired and hungry and thirsty for a win, because it's been too many days since their last win on Sunday. 888-808-1019. Positive Keithy on the Fan. Let's go down to Florida and talk to Jeff. What's up, Jeff?
Hey, Keith, how you doing?
All right.
Yeah, so I'm a Mets fan, and I'm not overly confident about the series either. And sometimes, you know, you get a nervous facing a team coming after a series like that. You always feel like they're due to win a game or two. But Diaz is not going to be available at the back of the game. So, especially if they're pitching the bullpen games.
At least not tonight, because he pitched back-to-back nights.
Yep, exactly. And
but don't worry, the Yankees situation with Luke Weaver and Devin Williams, if we get into a one-run game, a close game, at the end of the game, it's going to get tight for both teams.
Yeah, might need double digits, but having the last stops will definitely be helpful, and it'll be interesting how Soto comes out. As you know, you would think he'd be a lot more comfortable. He actually got a hit with runners in scoring position.
I expect him to star. Like I said, a couple singles tonight. I expect to see the long ball. I expect him to star in this series because he doesn't have to deal with the boos. He doesn't have to deal with the F1 Soto. It's like, okay, now it's my time to get my lick back. Now it's my time to face the Yankees in my home ballpark. And he's had all of these months to get over, like, no, he's not a Yankee anymore. All that's in the past. I expect Soto to be dialed in.
Yeah. And Stroman will be interesting because sometimes he is really overamped, and I could see him really struggling, or I could see him, actually dominating early because he's going to be, as a New York kid, he had some choice words about the Mets. It seems like he had choice words about everything after. But I think he's either going to have a great start or just blow up. My proposal is, I'm half joking because, they said they're not firing Boone. As a Yankees fan, or if poll, if the Yankees were going to fire Boone, if they get swept by the Mets, would you accept that? Or is that,
If the Yankees are going to, okay. and you know what? I know for a fact the Yankees look at the Mets like not even in mi clase. And George, as many people want to bring up George always looked down on the Mets. So if the Yankees set the bar where if you continue to lose and this losing streak goes L7 and you get swept by the Mets, we got to kick you up out of here. We got to fire you. Would I lose any sleep over that? No, I wouldn't lose any sleep over that. I wouldn't mind at all. Because, that's what I'm talking about. Somebody needs to be held accountable. Heads have to roll. They need to shake the room. They need to do something to, make people, walk around on eggshells a little bit. Fear is needed. Fear is the greatest motivator. But Aaron Boone is safe. There's a 0% chance that's going to happen.
Yeah, well, not even the Mets. You look at Francisco Alvarez. He got sent down.
And he's homering. And, like,
right.
if he can get sent down, why can't Volpe get sent down to be fixed a little bit? Thanks for the call, Jeff. 888-808-1019. Now we need to have an actual real conversation about Anthony Volpe. How many poor at-bats do we have to see? People are coming out of the woodwork now. I heard a theory about when he got plunked in Boston that he hasn't been the same since then. Someone asked me today, when are they going to sit Volpe down? I said they already did, June 22nd, that early morning game against the Orioles. It's deeper than that now. It has gotten to a point where, like, he comes up with runners on all the time. He should be batting ninth. Also, his at-bats are weak. His at-bats are alarming. It's sad. It's like the second pitch of the at-bat, that at-bat that he had when they did rally late in the game, I was just so defeated by it. I'm like, this doesn't make any sense. Who is talking to this kid? Who is helping this kid? Is he alone? He can't be alone. He needs a reset. And no one is above going down. Like Alvarez went down and he's hitting the ball now. What if he's able to come back up and carry that into his, I think they really need to consider it. Foolish pride does nothing. And, shout out to my chat because you guys are always solid. Shout out to Hector with the donation in the chat, throwing the $5. Hector, I see you. But Nicholas said, I like Sal Licata's take on Volpe. I was listening to Sal a little bit today, but I can't. I'm a Yankee fan, and I thought we were going to potentially rally today, and I needed better vibes today. I was at the pool today, and I'm like, no. I can't get jiggy with this. I'm about to listen to a Rough Riders album or something. Sal said, I guess, that Volpe was thrown right into the kiddie pool, or was taken right out of the kiddie pool into the deep end without a floaty. And if that was Sal's analogy, yeah, that's spot on. And Nicholas says that's what happens. That's what happens when you play 22 AAA games. Okay, so follow me here with Volpe. It's not too late to reverse course. Now, the reason that they can't and won't, because if you send him down, you got to play Peraza at short. But man, I don't know. This Nicky Lopez cat, doesn't he play shortstop? I feel like Volpe needs to get his confidence back. And he's not going to do that at the major league level facing these major league pitchers that have the book on him. He needs a reset. He's 24, right? They brought him up and gave him the opportunity to compete for the job at 21, turning 22, y'all. Think about it now. 3 seasons, 22-year-old season, 23-year-old season. This is now his 24-year-old season. And I remember because I lived this. I remember because I'm close to all of this. I feel for the young man. I feel for his family. I've met all of them. I've been Yankee fans that go to the stadium. You've seen the Volpe family. Great family. I feel for y'all. But Volpe is not above working on his game, being sent down. And what I'm seeing now is the business side of this. They should let him change his number to 77. The kid wore 77 that spring. He wanted to wear 77. They made him wear 11 because they wanted to sell jerseys. Follow me now. The marketing side of this was all local kid, one of us, Jersey, New York, born in New York, played in Jersey. That picture of him and Derek Jeter. The Yankees were pushing the marketing side of it. So much so that year, the term Volpening Day was a term. Volpening Day? Okay, it did not work. We're in the business of making things work. I'm not saying throw the kid away. I'm saying do everything you can to get the kid right. And throwing him out there every night and saying he's a plus defender and he's no. He needs and they're not going to do this. This is just me talking on Sports Talk Radio to fans that can hear it and other fans that understand that something is wrong and he needs an adjustment and nobody is above that, man. They send players down that are older. They send players it's okay to go down and work on your mechanics, work on your stance. In that year when he came up, Austin Wells wasn't up yet and there was a whole conversation about how he had chicken parm dinner. Shout out to his aunt who makes the best chicken parm and how Austin Wells noticed something in his swing and mentioned it to him and he fixed that. Man, Get back to the drawing board. Get back to the drawing board now, right? Because everybody wants to remind me, like Harold in Atlantic City, it's July 4th. We got a long ways to go. So when are you going to send him down to work on his swing, work on his approach, his eye? Because something is off, man. He comes up too many times. It is alarming that every night now they can put the stat up. I don't know. Volpe has 155 runners left on base, leading Major League Baseball. That is a problem for the New York Yankees and the marquee position, the shortstop of the New York Yankees. Fix it. And don't be too proud to fix it. Bob is in LA on the Fan in NY. What's up, Bob? You got it.
Hey, Keith. Good evening. I want to talk about the sad state of the Yankees, which, by the way, is 12, 13, 14. This is not just this season or last season. Let's kind of put that to bed. But before I talk about the Yankees and do some therapy with you, I just had a thought earlier. You're a Cowboys fan. I'm a Giants fan. The Washington football team, I think, is pretty lame. Their new name. I don't think they're going backwards, which I don't think they should. That's just me personally. But what about this as a name for the Washington football team? The Hogs.
The Bummanders. That's Al Cintron's favorite team. Al will be coming up in about an hour. I just call them the Bummanders. They're the Commanders. The worst rebrand. It's actually a shame. Like the NFL, who does all these great things, like that's their rebrand. They let that go on. They're going to get a new stadium and everything. They got Jaden Daniels. They're not going to be the Hogs. They're not going back to the Washington football team. They're going to be the Washington Commanders. And they're probably going to be good again. They got Deebo Samuel. They're probably going to be pretty decent. But anyway, the Yankees. We need football. We desperately need football. But we'll get there. I guarantee you. Give this radio station 3 weeks. And there's going to be some hot takes and some stories, and we're going to put baseball on the back burner because who knows what either one of these teams are going to be in 3 weeks.
Hey, man, I'm watching the Yankee game thinking about the football season, so that tells you almost everything. But what I want to talk about is just how bad Volpe is. And I don't know if you saw this. So you know that pitcher, Luis Ortiz, who's being investigated? Did you see that today?
Yes, and the 1 o'clock hour is going to speak on that.
So he's being investigated, which, this whole gambling thing really is turning into a movie, But what's crazy is, so there are 2 pitches that were clearly balls. There was another pitch where he's pitching to Volpe, and I think it's 2 strikes, 3 and 2. I don't know where it was. There's on Twitter, you'll find it. And he's pitching to Volpe, 3 and 2, and he pitches him a ball so inside, like clearly just like a don't swing at this inside pitch. And of course, Volpe swings it strikes out. And you see Ortiz all upset, saying a bad word. Not that he's happy to struck this guy out.
I just searched Luis Ortiz Volpe. It's the first thing that comes up, and he's like, "Why did you swing at that?" And I got to translate this, but I don't even have to translate it because they have the F word in the. This is crazy with this dude, but yeah, Volpe is swinging at anything. Volpe's at bat where he swung at the. I think it was like a slider outside. I think I tweeted it because I'm just like, come on, man. This kid is better than this. I've seen him have better at bats than this. I've seen him be more competitive than this. He's become such a rally killer. They gotta take him out of the lineup. They gotta they're crushing his confidence more by doing this. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I just think about it, man. You say baseball's not predictable. I think what's predictable though is the Yankees don't build players, find players, develop players in their farm system. Other than Judge, who is made by God, you look at it like I'm old enough. The Killer Bees and this and that. Jason Dominguez, by the way, fairness, looks pretty good. Let's see. He doesn't, he's not a world beater, but let's see what happens to him.
A homegrown Yankee in his rookie year, the kid belongs. We're not really worried about him right now. We're saying he should play every day. Right now, we're worried about Volpe and his development. It's year 3, and his at-bats, he's going backwards. His at-bats are bad right now. He needs help, and they're not helping him by saying, he's our shortstop, he's going to play every day. But you know what that is? That's them admitting, hey, this is how we built the roster. We don't have anybody else. It's him or nothing. And if we can't overcome it, then so be it.
Which makes me think if there's something to do, say the season goes sideways and, they make the playoffs, somebody beats them for whatever. It goes sideways. They don't end up in the World Series. I think something to do that's kind of give people a pound of flesh, but I think is maybe not a bad move. You're saying just revamp the farm system. Keep Cashman, Cashman and Boone are honorary Steinbrenners, but be like, hey, you know what? Like, let's turn this thing upside down because they just don't develop it. And that way Cashman can, keep his job, Boone can keep their job, and they do something, be like, whatever the Dodgers are doing, whatever the Tampa Bay is doing, just figure it out, guys.
Yeah, I don't know. There's no revamp in the farm system because they're in a win now window. Start at the top. Aaron Judge is in his prime. Start at the top. Like, honestly, I'm already in my mind on the next year because I'm like, this year they have injuries. I don't think anybody's going to help them. As much as we talk about the American League being weak, chill. The Detroit Tigers are better than them. Chill. You do not want smoke with the Astros. Chill. You don't even want smoke with the American League East. They have the worst record in their own division. Like, they're on a fast track to being a third-place team in their own division. It shouldn't have to be an uphill climb to win this division. You had a 7-game lead. So, like, what are we talking about, bro? Talking about these Volpe at-bats. Not even the Chad Green at-bat, which is just, I don't know. The Chad Green at-bat, he only saw one pitch. But where he swung at the second pitch of the at-bat, I'm trying to go back in the box score. My notes are all over the place, and I know I live tweet the whole game just sitting there by myself watching. But it killed a rally, bro. It killed a rally. Like, it always falls on Volpe, too. You would think that would be enough. They would have enough numbers and analytics to say, hey, wherever we bat this guy in the lineup, the guys get on in front of him, and he can't bring him in. And tonight he did have 2 ribbies, a ground out and a bloop. But like, he's got to see more pitches, bro. And I like, they got to help this kid. He doesn't look like he's having fun out there. 888-808-1019. When we come back, I'll talk more about Luis Ortiz, who shoved against the Yankees. And I'm sure he's the next one to get arrested for this gambling stuff, or be where Malik Beasley is. Like, these guys are all gambling. Anyway, Keith McPherson on the Fan. I got an hour left. BRB.
It's Evan and Kiki. Afternoons on the Fan 101.9 FM.
I'm trying to find that Volpe at bat. I don't know what inning it was, bro. It was stupid, though. It wasn't when Chad Green faced Volpe. Oh, it's this one. Ball 4, or the 4th pitch of the at bat. First one was a called strike inside. Called strike inside. Fouled a ball way inside, and then chases a ball outside. What are we doing? What are we doing? Appreciate the bread. This account is monetized. This YouTube channel is monetized. I do make a little bit of change off this, and them super chats help the most. Yeah, Atlantic City. Back, Harold called from Atlantic City. Bro. I'm telling you, I can tell stories, bro. I can't. I would love to go back to Atlantic City. I was underage, and I got a motel room in a sketchy-ass motel. I think it was like $100 for the night because I had these 2 girls from Virginia. I'll stop right there. Atlantic City is a crazy place. There's nothing to talk about with the Nets. Terrence Mann, Michael Porter Jr. There's nothing to talk about. But exactly, bro. When you said this, it's like, this internet shit is one thing. In real life, people know how valid I am. If I wasn't on the radio and if I wasn't in the media, I'd still be going to games because I was doing that before I got on. It helped me get on. So like, and it ain't about like, oh, like I'm not a lame like that. Like I'm not one of them fans that pulls up like, oh, we're winning now. I want to be in the winning atmosphere. Like the teams are the teams that I rep. And like I have people, yes, I am from Jersey. I have people that I rock with at the games. Like I go there to hang out with people. I go there to see other people that are fans that I know. Let me try and get through the chat faster. Left Diggy, bro. I see y'all doing the net stuff, man. I mean, when the season starts, how about this? Summer League. Let's see what the Summer League looks like, and I'll start talking about the Nets. You're saying the Yankees are getting swept? Perhaps. Yeah, no, and that's it's baseball. We can't predict it. Something I said last night, I was like, yo, if I'm a Met fan, I'm forgetting about that Pittsburgh series because Pittsburgh's been rolling and they just rolled the Cardinals and they went 6-0 in that homestand. So you got to kind of forget about it. But it's not a guarantee. It's not a guarantee that the Mets beat the Yankees because the Yankees are in a bad one, because the Yankees have the pitching advantage. They have 3 veteran starters going. And if the Yankees have any pride, they should see New York versus New York and a holiday weekend, and that place will probably be packed, and it should be a postseason like atmosphere that wakes them up. But on the other hand, too, you've seen Stroman get rocked, you've seen Rodon get rocked, and you've seen Free just had a little bit of a shaky outing. The defense let him down. Yeah, Dreamweaver has become a Nightmare Weaver. Yeah, sure. I mean, well played. I just think it's like he's turned back into a pumpkin a little bit right here. I won't say that they rushed him back too quick from the hamstring injury. It's just, I don't know. There's a lot of there's a lot of little things going on. If you caught any of that, I was completely joking. And I always say I don't have any shtick. The only shtick is me pretending that I care or like the Mets. That's the only time I'm pretending. I don't have any character. I don't. The same way I'm talking here, I'll talk to you in person. We're just all talking sports. I don't have any. I don't turn anything on, except for, like I said, when this started, and I did all my whole open on the Mets because the Yankees suck. Amber's in here. What's up, Amber? All right, 1 o'clock. Let's get back to it. I have. We did that for Vladdy.
Good morning at 1 o'clock. I'm Marco Belletti. 14 losses in 20 games, now a 1-game deficit in the AL East as the Blue Jays complete the 4-game sweep in Toronto, roll the Yankees 8-5. Adding injury to insult, Clark Schmidt left after 3 innings, right forearm tightness, MRI to come. George Springer, another 2-homer game, drove in 4. He had 8 hits, 4 homers, and 11 RBIs in the series. The Bombers will limp their way into the Subway Series later today. Meanwhile, the Mets gaining some momentum, back-to-back victories up in the Brewers 3-2. Brandon Nimmo went deep. Juan Soto, your go-ahead RBI single. Pete Alonso, ribby double. But David Peterson was terrific. 1 earned over 6 2/3. 70 degrees, clear skies, Central Park. That's what's happening. I'm Marco Belletti.
You need to get done. Inside the 1 o'clock hour on the fan in New York. All right, let's talk sports. So, yeah, I said in the 1 o'clock hour I was going to talk about Luis L. Ortiz. I remember him coming to Yankee Stadium and shoving against the Yankees. And I'm like, all right, here we go. Yankees make anybody look like an ace. Man, this video of Volpe, I just quote tweeted it and put it on my Twitter, and I translated the words during the break. So the person that put the video out was like, yeah, I saw that game. Luis L. Ortiz had a low strikeout rate, and he won the game with a high strikeout. And he was saying to himself, F word, when Volpe strikes out. So if you watch this video, Buddy throws the ball 86 miles an hour. I don't know. I forget what his pitch mix was. It looked like a slider. In the zone. And Volpe strikes out on it. And his expression after the strikeout does not look like there's no reason for him to be pumped. It's not the last out of the inning. And it is Volpe that he's striking out, not Judge. His expression looks like, oh, damn it. Struck him out. So news breaks today about Luis L. Ortiz being investigated. And my first thought is, oh, he shoved against the Yankees. What are they investigating him for? Like PEDs? No. For gambling, right? He's under investigation for betting on himself. So baseball dugout on Instagram, like people, and that's the thing too. We're in this time. Man, I remember when John Boy was doing the whole breakdowns thing, and he was the first one to go and put the video to the article of the investigation. I remember being in John Boy's apartment when he was living in Harlem, and he was on the air with Houston radio breaking down what he found and how he did it. We're in this era now where MLB has MLB Film Room, and all this stuff is so easy to find, where like you can't hide anything. Everything is in plain sight. Y'all better stop tripping, thinking that you could do anything. Not even just like anything. You can't do anything illegal now. There's a digital trail right back to you to say, yup, this is it. So, I mean, they found this stuff quick with this guy, bro. He was betting on himself first pitch. And they have video of him. Bro, like, he threw a first pitch against the Cardinals that I'm looking at right now. It was so far in the other batter spots. It's like it doesn't look like a Major League Baseball player, like a starting pitcher. He threw it straight into the batter's box, into the dirt, and it skipped to the backside. I think the catcher was even surprised. So, sources said betting integrity from IC360 sent an alert in June to sportsbook operators regarding Ortiz. MLB placed on a non-disciplinary paid leave. Ortiz threw a first pitch slider that was well outside the strike zone. Like this guy was betting on himself first pitches. The alert, according to sources who reviewed it, referenced action on Ortiz's first pitches and select innings to be a ball or hit batsman in 2 games. So like this guy, who knows? I don't know if he's that dumb to have bet on himself. The alert on Ortiz's first pitches were flag bets in Ohio, New York, and New Jersey. So did he come here and bet while he was playing the Yankees? Betting on the result of the first pitches is offered by some sports books, yada yada yada. But anyway, like he's about to risk his entire career off this. This has got to be so dumb to do this. But last but not least, Jeff Passan wrote, and you know Passan's on it. Passan's not putting out anything unless it's valid and legit. In a typical MLB season, more than 700,000 pitches are thrown. 2 from Luis Ortiz had unusual gambling action on him, prompting an alert. Sent out an investigation by MLB. The alert, according to sources who reviewed it, Ortiz's first pitch in select innings to be a ball or hit batsman in 2 games, June 15th against the Seattle Mariners and June 27th against the St. Louis Cardinals. In both the bottom of the second inning against the Mariners and the top of the third inning against the Cardinals, Ortiz threw a first pitch slider. As I said, it looked like this was well outside of the zone. This guy's manipulating his slider to cash out. I'm tickled by this, bro. When I saw this earlier today, I'm like, no way. You're getting paid well. There was a recent one. It just passed in June. He did. That's where the Volpe clip comes from. He accidentally struck out Volpe. He was mad as hell. He had some wagers, and he might even had a team of people like yo, bet on me. Yeah, third inning, bro. I'm gonna throw some BS out there. Bro, like we are in this era of this gambling. So I said it a couple weeks ago, like we've only just begun. You know, we don't really even know who was doing what. Malik Beasley stuff is crazy. Yeah, so the second game of the Guardians series, when the Guardians beat the Yankees 4-0, Ortiz went out there and shoved. He went 5 2/3, only gave up 3 hits, no runs, had 7 Ks. His over under was probably like 5.5 strikeouts. He was like, "Oh, I'm cashing enough." No, it's pretty clear. It's pretty clear that he did this, and that's why it's even crazier that they let Ohtani just walk. Mike is in Bayside, New York on the Fan. What's up, Mike? It's free money. It feels like it's free money. Thanks for the call, Mike. I grew up at Monmouth Racetrack. Like that's different. Betting on the ponies, you're walking up with cash in hand. You're betting with the tailor. I know now, or not the tailor, the teller. I know now you can do it with the apps or whatnot. You can't regulate it, and like that's why it took so long for them to legalize it because they knew it was going to be problems. Like it's what a perplexing Pegasus. Like this is now they've opened up Pandora's box with this. Like you can't go back now because all the gambling leagues are, all the gambling books are in bed with the leagues, and there's so many people. Like even Fanatics. Like I didn't even know Fanatics had a sports book, and like Fanatics, they were giving out stuff for the sports book, and you could bet in there with the sports book, and they're opening up sports books at different places. Obviously, FanDuel, DraftKings, BetMGM. I'm sure I'm forgetting something. They're everywhere. And as much as they try to tell these players, don't bet on the game, they're going to take the chance. If you're a gambling man anyway, you're going to gamble on that. You're going to gamble on the fact that you're not going to get caught. But since you mentioned it, looking at ESPN and ESPN Bet, the New York Yankees are -110. And on the money line, the over-under is at 9.5. The Mets are -115. And New York Yankees -1.5 is +150 on the run line. I honestly deleted the app because I was betting on the Yankees. And then when they started, I can't bet against the Yankees. If I was smart, I would be betting against the Yankees through this whole stretch. But I don't want that. Like, I don't want that money. Like, I know how Evan will like hedge or do an emotional hedge. Like, I don't want that. What is that money to me? Like, I want to win. So I'm not going to, like, if I would have bet on George Springer this whole series, easy money. But I deleted the app because I knew they were falling into this June swoon. And I'm like, I don't want to think that, like, they're in this June swoon and tonight they're going to break out of it. So I load up on Judge, the Homer, Belly, Jazz, Goldie, Ben Rice, Trent Grisham, and then they just pissed me off. Like I'm not about to lose money with them losing all these games. But yeah, here comes the Subway Series. You guys want to bet on that? Go for it. Ross is in Bergen County on the Fan next. What's up, Ross? Good. At least we're able to get some laughs out of Luis L. Ortiz, and it's not all misery and doom and gloom. Yeah, I did see that. No group. Yeah, yes. I did see that. And it's like, you can't do that. Like, that's how. Yeah. They want you to follow Colin Cowherd's bet or Bill Simmons' bet. Never. I never, ever, ever would do that. But the homies, like, bro, like I stopped showing my winning bets because people always like, yo, why don't you hit me up? And I'm like, I have friends that I'm in group chats with, and they're like, yo, this is gonna hit tonight, and I leave the chat. But like that's how we all, like, a lot of us have bet in these last couple of years of like, yo, what's good for tonight? Who do you think's gonna homer tonight? Yo, we're tailing. All right, yo, or let's all put in. You put in 100. I put in 100. I put in, like, that's just kind of part of the culture now. So that now these sportsbooks are going to tell us, hey, you guys can't do that. Okay.
They do it the one night one of those finally hits. There's never a problem when they were, making racks on racks off those stupid parlays. The one day it finally hits, all of a sudden no more. But I don't even know how that's going to stand. I don't even know if like they withdrew it or what. But I saw that on the feed the other day. One other thing, really quick, and I'll get to this point. This thing with Lucas Ortiz. This is his first year with Cleveland. He just came from Pittsburgh. And aside from obviously Ohtani's a big gambling type scheme with the MLB, you remember last year they had like that shortstop Marcano or something was like the first guy to get busted for the gambling, and he was with Pittsburgh too. So I don't know if there was a little bit of a combined thing going on that Ortiz now brought to Cleveland when they were in the same dugout last year. And Marcano, he never, I think, like they got down on him like right away. I don't even think he might have been banned like that same week they investigated him. At least Ortiz, I don't know how long this is going to last, but something to look at there. They were in the same clubhouse last year.
I do remember there was a sweep of players last year. One of the Padres. I don't know. There's going to be more. I know there's got to be some guys sweating right now too. Like, damn, I gotta cover my tracks. I know. Ohtani's the only one that's not sweating. Ohtani's like, they need me. They need me. The Ipe. Handle that.
Ipe's like Squidward behind the cage looking at SpongeBob and Ohtani running, free. You ever see? You know what I'm talking about? They got like Squidward looking at the house, SpongeBob and Patrick running. Yup, that's Ohtani with his ring. Really quick, man. Could I get to it's open mic, right? I could do like an MLB point. I gotta ask.
Sure.
Something. I hear so many people call it, and I guess now's not really the time with the Yankees skin and Mets. Like it's like a seesaw. Who's worse recently? But I hear so many Yankee fans in specific talk about how, you guys always have Cleveland's number, Minnesota's number. Those are like, some of the most well-known things. Like anytime you see Minnesota in the postseason, it's a guaranteed sweep or a gentleman's sweep. Same thing, kind of like the whole AL Central rhetoric. I don't understand. Can someone explain to me why now all of a sudden with Detroit, as good as the record is, there's no denying 20 games over 500. We saw Cleveland in this same spot last year. Why does it feel like it's like the flirting versus harassment thing? Last year, Cleveland was an instant write-off. I want to see Cleveland because I know it's going like 5 games at the most. And all of a sudden now the Tigers, the big bad Tigers, I don't want to see them come postseason, which keep in mind, you want to talk about shady business, all this kind of like behind the scenes, who knows what's going on? Don't you think it's a little shady that these big bad Tigers, 2 of the faces of their dynamic lineup are 2 of the most, the written off, most disgraced players in New York baseball in the last few years, and Gleyber Torres and Javi Baez? the same guys that every Yankee fan in this city wrote off Torres. Every Met fan, myself included, wrote off Javi Baez, and rightfully so up until this year. And all of a sudden now they're two of the best bats in this lineup that everybody and their mother's supposed to fear. I mean, bro, I'll give Google his flowers.
And also, you got to add that AJ Hinch is definitely cheating somehow. We've already, seen him be involved in a cheating scandal.
Bro, how about this? Forget the two disgraced infielders in New York. Spencer Torkelson and Casey Mize back-to-back years first overall picks. We know we got our fair share of busts here. Daniel Jones, Volpe, Lapcock, the list goes on and on of failed prospects that could do no wrong here. Spencer Torkelson and Casey Mize had 1 foot out of the league, and now in the same year, riding off of last year with the Gritty Tigers, whatever they were called, a month and a half. Bro, I saw somebody, you see with Texas now, everybody's calling them a one-year wonder. I saw somebody say the difference between the Rangers and the Tigers is that the Tigers have been good for multiple years while the Rangers were a one-year wonder. Bro, we're talking about this time last year, it wasn't for like another month and a half that Detroit finally got going. This is complete recency bias. I'm going to go on the record. Scooble's the only legitimate player on that team because we know all too well, Javi and Glaber's true colors in this city. And if you're telling me Torkelson and Casey Mize needed 7 years to finally establish themselves as an MLB level players, that they catapult themselves to number one in the AL, I'm sorry, bro. If I'm a Yankee fan or MLB fan in general, I'm not afraid of them come postseason time. I just had to get that out because me, I can't stand Detroit.
Maybe. They just lost back-to-back games to the Nationals. James Wood went crazy on them. I don't know. They beat the Yankees. When the Yankees went out there, it was also freezing. And I don't know. I don't trust the Yankees. Thanks for the call, Ross. 888-808-1019. Speaking of the Yankees, as I refresh my Twitter feed, Brian Hoke reports that Aaron Boone spoke to the Yankees tonight after getting swept in Toronto. Jazz Chisholm said that Boone reminded them that they're the best team in the league, and he wants them to be unfazed by recent struggles. Oh, man. I appreciate Aaron Boone. Cool dad. Cool dad is the dad. You come home, your jeans are ripped, you're a little bloodied, you got a black eye. What happened, son? Can't just jump me. They jumped you? I got my ass beat, Dad. I can't fight. Well, you're the best fighter in the school. I want you to be unfazed by getting jumped. And tomorrow you go back to school and don't get your ass whooped. Then you come home the next day, stomped out again. But Dad, you told me I was the best. Like, nah, sometimes you need to be real with you need to be real with them. Hey, we're not the best team in the league right now. Actually, let's hit the standings right now because the Yankees, they haven't gotten to 50 wins. The Mets got to 50 wins tonight. I'm sure the Yankees, if you want to look at run differential, they're still up there. But when you go to the standings and you look at all of Major League Baseball, are the Yankees still in the top 10? Barely. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They have the 9th best record in Major League Baseball. You are what your record says you are. Stop telling these guys these tall tales of like what they're not. That is the problem. That's what Francesa said on Twitter. We're a really good team. Like that's the essence of the problem. Maybe try something else. And like I said, at this time, I know the Yankees have landed. I hope that there's at least one Yankee in some type of car service where the driver listens to WFAN because he wants to say like, hey, listen to these fans talk. Listen to these fans talk. Listen to Keith McPherson. He's a Yankee fan. He's hurting right now. He's fed up right now. I'm not gonna lie to you. They're not playing well. They're not one of the better teams in the league. How? Like, where you just got swept by the Toronto Blue Jays. I was just talking about the Blue Jays. The Blue Jays were not in a good spot just a couple weeks ago. Emmanuel Barbari was just talking about it on the post game. And like, as we look at run differential now, the run differential that you did have the lead in when you were like plus 105, oh, guess who has crept up on you? The Dodgers are at 100 now with you with plus 100 run differential. And now the Cubs this week plus 109. And guess who's coming to town next week? Oh, yeah, the Chicago Cubs will be in the building next weekend. And you got to face the Mariners, too. Cal Raleigh's coming here to bop in the Bronx. So, like, what are we talking about? They better get it together. And I don't think you get it together by looking at yourself in the mirror and saying, like, I'm good. No, you just got swept. Let's go to Lennox. Robbie's on the fan again.
God bless the fire for THC, man. How are you? Oh, my God. I can't take it anymore, Keith. I need some Yankee therapy. How are you?
I'm all right. I'm just over it. I'm over it. Like, how do you lose 4 games in a row and embarrass yourself in so many ways, and then reports are coming out that the manager told them they're the best team in the league? No, you're not.
Oh, my God. It's ridiculous. That's the whole problem. It's like a sugar coating. You know what it is? There's no accountability. You know, we always keep saying, what would George do? What would George do? First of all, these 2 guys, Cashman and Boone, would have been gone, years ago, okay? Because Cashman's got 1 championship in 25 years. Okay, so a couple of points about this whole situation, all right? First of all, Jason Dominguez has been the hottest hitter on the team. Why is he batting 7th in front of Anthony Volpe, who right now looks like Charlie Brown every time he swings the bat? Okay, I can't take it anymore. I feel so bad for Anthony Volpe. What would be so wrong, Keith, as you suggested, if we sent Anthony Volpe down and horn his skills a little bit, get his confidence going, and maybe he could be the leadoff hitter for the Yankees. The Yankees structurally, and I listened to Francesa's whole rant tonight, so I don't want to quote him, but some of the things he said, and I'm sure you've gone over this about different things. The team's not built right, and the team hasn't built right constructively for so long.
Yep.
It's always top heavy, okay?
And they cut corners. Yep, go on.
Right. I was also going to say, the other thing is, why in the world is Giancarlo Stanton, who's 5 for 48 in lifetime, 109, why isn't Paul Goldschmidt up there in front of Giancarlo Stanton? Oh, it's 5 for 48. Okay, it's like what you're listening to is like Charlie Brown's teacher. Wah, 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 wah. This is what I've heard for 8 years. I keep saying 8 is enough. 8 is enough. 8 is enough. La, 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 la. That's what these guys are hearing. You know what? Where's the accountability? You know why? Because you don't have former Yankees. I guarantee you, if David Cohn and Paul O'Neill and Bernie Williams, okay, were in that locker room, and especially Jorge Posada, because everybody talks about who was the leader of those teams. Now, Derek Jeter is the same as Aaron Judge. Aaron Judge is not going to fling things across the room. But Jorge Posada was the guy who spoke up, and he was the guy who made things happen in that locker room. There is nobody like that right now. I don't care. Who is the guy right now who's flipping his wig and saying, this is embarrassing?
No one.
This is not the Yankee way. This is BS. Who is it, Keith?
There's no one, Robbie. Judge isn't like that. Judge is all world, and we all respect the player that he is. I mean, we don't all respect the player he is because there are many people that say he's Mr. May or Mr. June and that he's going to fold in October. So what am I saying with that? I think the players in that clubhouse respect him, but I don't think he yells or gets mad. I think he's so locked in and focused, and he's a baseball player. They didn't even get mad when they got embarrassed and lost the World Series. The reports came out that they were sobbing and weeping and crying together. They were embarrassed, like that. Stanton, I think, is like more of the tough type. But there's nobody in there that has won. Max Fried has a World Series ring with the Braves, but it's his first year here. Max Fried, when you listen to Max Fried talk, he's not inspiring anybody to break out of this. Jazz is just too cool for school. He's swag champ, he's aura. You guys watch the Jazz Day in the Life? They went to Jazz's apartment. Jazz in his apartment. He's got a personal chef. They're making bacon, egg, and cheese. He's got the fruits. He's got a studio in his apartment. He's kicking raps. He's making songs. He's showing off his Jordan collection. He's got all his designer clothes. Jazz isn't coming in there yelling. And also, Jazz is being forced to play out of position right now. So he's kind of just, doing what he's doing. Goldie commands respect because of his resume and his back of his baseball card, but it's also his first year and he's cooled off. Belly, I think, is a leader because they respect him for what he's done. But I don't think that like Brett Gardner being in that locker room, being in that clubhouse rather, he had a ring and he was part of the old regime. And every year we get further away from that dies. CC Sabathia, not in there anymore. Judge was around some of these guys, but Judge, he doesn't strike me as the guy to be a rah-rah guy and yell and strike fear into anybody. Let's go to Miriam in Forest Hills. Miriam, how you feeling about those make it happen Mets?
I love it. I'm so proud of them. They came back, and I think tonight we'll see who pitches because some of those people are missing. But this Yankee Met stuff is a novelty. Enough with this. It's a novelty. That's all it is. It's nice.
Yeah, but they're going to make a lot of it.
Oh, please.
Luckily, it's a holiday weekend, though, so you'll probably have some fill-ins during this weekend, and we'll see what happens when we get back on Monday. I think the Mets are going to win the series. I just think the Yankees are in a bad one, and just the way that baseball goes, like, I think the Mets got it.
The Yankees, you know what? I've never been a Yankee fan, even when I was a kid. I was a Giants fan. And I learned a whole lot from rooting for another team, is that if you care about your team, who cares what anybody else thinks?
In New York, it's tough. Everywhere you look, it's Mets versus Yankees, Yankees versus Mets.
It's a nice novelty. Let me talk about something that you should know. Ask yourself, is Toonie allergic to firecrackers? Is she afraid of firecrackers? Because
she doesn't leave the house, and I won't bring any in the house.
No, you shouldn't, because it's scary. I had one cat that I used to have to hold in my arms because he was so scared. You have to.
Toon is afraid of the thunder, and so is my son. So I don't know. We'll see what happens this weekend when the fire.
That's what I'm hoping, that she's not and he's not. So you just hold them a lot and comfort them.
They're gonna be scared, but I'm not holding them. I'm trying to go see them. I'm trying to see some fireworks. I'm have my wife in the house with them. I'm going outside.
Well, then you have to hold them and comfort them because they're scared. Tiger's pretty good. He's not afraid of anything. I'm proud of him. He's not afraid of anything. But the reality is that, sometimes they are scared. So you have to hold them and comfort them and make sure that they're okay.
I try and tell them to be tough. Thanks for the call, Miriam. Even my son's like scared when there's thunder, and even my cat. I'm like, yo, y'all are soft, bro. It's outside. We're good. We're up here like multiple floors up. Mother Nature is the sky. Like, you never heard, like, last week, I think there was some really loud thunder. It is what it is. I used to live in this spot when my son was first born. I used to live in this spot where we were too close to the hood, and they were firing off fireworks all night. Like when my son was first born, I lived somewhere else, where like close to a park. They would be boom, 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 like 1 a.m. We're good now. But that's coming. You might hear them tonight. It's the 4th now, and it continues for a week because people stock up, and they're just gonna let them ring off for from now to July 9th. All right, 888-808-1019. Still talking to these Yankee fans on the fan after we just reported that Aaron Boone told the team that they're the best in the league and they should be unfazed by this. Now you should be a little phased. And now you have some injuries. And now you have the Mets and the Met fans to deal with. And the last thing that the Yankees want, is to lose 4 in a row, Marcus Stroman get rocked, and for them to have a party on July 4th in Flushing. Keith McPherson on the fan, 888-808-1019. Don't go anywhere. We're coming right back.
You're juggling work, life, and imploding bullpens.
Let me see. I'm going back into the chat. DFA Volpe, give him a nap, give him a bottle. Keith, we're not struggling. This is who we are. I know. This is exactly who the Yankees are. There is no responsibility, accountability. I'm going to tell them, but I don't know if they hear me. Right. It used to be I'm starring this, and I'm starring this, and I'll come back. I will come back to this, and I'm actually about to queue up something from this account on Twitter that I got a reference. Okay. Let me get back to the current part of the chat. She had me laughing because she was talking about Tiger's not scared, but she wanted to know if my like cats were scared of fireworks, firecrackers. My son, we're up in an apartment where I don't know. I'm not worried about that. They'll be fine. I can. I just did. Stop lying to them. Like, why are you good? Because you went to the World Series last year? That was a different team. Yep, Kyle Raleigh coming to boom the Bronx. I think the Met fans should be hyped. Anything can happen. We'll see. But right, both teams are playing like trash. So how hyped can you really be? Jazz is him. They need to put him back at second base. It's too much of a country club. It's too chill now. Yup. It's rinse and repeat. DJ barely talks. Cat got his tongue. Carlos, what up? Bro, that was happening to me 2 years ago when my son was first born. My son was born in April. So like this time 2 years ago, where I used to live, they used to boom the fireworks. I'm like, yo, I just got this kid to go to bed.
July 4th. Keith McPherson on the fan. This is my last one till Monday. I didn't take the whole, some people took off last night, the night before, whatever. I didn't take the whole week off. Like, it's nothing. It's nothing to come in here and talk about the Stankies and the Yankees losing. Before we get back to these calls, and I'm going to go straight calls, there's a couple things I wanted to hit people with. One, there's just some things from the chat. Amber in the chat says, competitors get phased. That's how you gain an edge. Talking about how, Boone just told the team, you shouldn't be phased by this. But yes, the Yankees used to have teams shook before they even crossed the foul line to step in between those lines against them. You know what I'm saying? Like, that used to be the thing about the Yankees. You got them beat before the first pitch. Nobody fears these Yankees because these Yankees don't fear anything, right? So Mendel says, we need someone to smash a cooler, show some fight. No, there isn't any of that, right? Because, like, everybody's too cool now. Aaron Boone is a cool dad, and they're too cool now. No one can flip out and get too mad now because he'd be like, yo, what are you doing? We're just in a rough stretch. Why are you overreacting? Why are you so mad? We're the Yankees. We're good. Did you break something? Are you out of your mind? Like, that is what the vibe has turned into. I think I was starting to turn into a little Karl Anthony Towns right there. And then Evan says, notice how they all say the same thing in the press conference? Yes, because it's rinse and repeat when you keep losing. right? So when you keep losing, you're prepared to put on the same face and say the same things about, yeah, we need to play better. This is just a bad stretch, though. Yeah, sure. There are some things we got to work on, but we're going to come out of it. We're going to turn the corner. We believe in each other. The belief in this group. We can do it. Then do it. Then do it. Win. 888-808-1019. I've been calling them the participation trophy era Yankees, and there's this account on Twitter at Yankees Light, and they did the homework. They did some Chat GPT stuff, and it's too hard for me to read all of this. But basically, they did the work to compare the Yankees to Yankees teams of the past. It starts off saying, are the Yankees' annual summer downturns a normal part of the game, or are they unique? Last night, Aaron Judge had this to say about the Yankees' 6-13 spell, now 6-14. Judge said, we're going through 2 of these a year. Every good team does. So what this person did was go back and say, okay, every good team goes through this twice a year. Let's do the research. And they defined a good team as a team that finishes with 90 wins or better. They went back the last 5 seasons to 2020 to 2024, and they took the Yankees' worst stretch within those seasons, and then they compared it to other 90-win teams. Between 2024 and 2020, there were 41 teams to win 90 games. And here's a breakdown of what they found. In 2020, the Yankees' worst stretch was 4-15. The number of good teams with a equivalent or worse stretch, 0. And 2020 was a shortened season, whatever. So, take it as you may, but whatever. That's where the sample size starts, 60-game season. Let's go to 2021. The Yankees' worst stretch in 2021, they went 10-22. The number of 90-win teams with an equivalent or worse stretch, goose egg again, 0. In 2022, the Yankees' worst stretch was 10-17. Okay, in 2022, the number of 90-win teams with an equivalent or worse stretch was 3. 2023, when they went 82-80 and Judge was hurt, their worst stretch was 12-21. The number of 90-win teams with an equivalent or worse stretch was 2. In 2024, the Yankees' worst stretch was 12-24. The number of 90-win teams with an equivalent or worse stretch was 0. So you keep telling them that we're a good team. We're a good team. Good teams go through this. But in the last 5 years, there's only been 5 examples of that. Maybe one other team a year. It is you. It is the participation trophy Yankees. It is your organization. It is what you go through. It is what you consistently do. Don't put that on anybody else. The Dodgers don't do that. In the 5-year span, only 5 out of 41 teams went through these stretches. So stop. Like, people are putting together numbers and literally doing deep dives and calling you out on what you're saying. You're lying. Your words hold no weight because they're not factual. So snap out of it and actually be accountable and stop putting on, oh, yeah, it's just baseball. No, it's not just baseball. Control what you can control. Jonathan is in Los Angeles on the Fan. What's up, Jonathan?
Yo, what's good, my guy Keith? Hey, man, those were some pretty good stats right there, the ones you just said, man. Hey, man, look, with Boone, bro, I mean, it was that, I think it was that at bat with Bellinger. I think, who was it? With Ben Rice. He striked out, and Boone didn't do nothing. I'm not these type of fans that I'm calling in every day and I tell them, oh, Boone should be fired every day. No. But I'm like, I'm watching this game, I'm like, Boone, I mean, get your ass, go over there, tell the ump. The ump was messing up the whole damn game, bro. He was calling bad strikes. I mean, come on, you're already losing 8-3. Just go up and just go get kicked out. Do something. I mean, bro, I was yelling at the TV, do something. Instead, you got the pitching coach, Matt Blake, over there.
Yeah, he's talking right behind Boone. And what they were saying, Jonathan, is out there in Toronto, they're so far from the umpire, but the ump could hear him. Trent Grisham had an egregious strike call called on him. Go do something about it. You can't. You won't. And, like, what's the point now? You've lost 4 in a row. You're on your way to losing your 4th. Get tossed.
Instead, he's blowing his bubble, man. His bubbles, bro. But you know what? At this point, man, I'm not gonna lie to you, man, and I'm serious, Keith. Last October, bro, I went. It was bad times, bro. It was bad times living here in LA and going through all these Dodgers fans. It was humiliation. It was bad for me, my son, my wife. It was really bad, man. It was. I don't want to go through that again. All right, but the thing is, I'm not really afraid of the Rays or the Blue Jays. I'm really not, bro. Quietly, the Houston Astros already creeping up to probably being the best team in AL. And what's going to happen this year? How are we going to get embarrassed? How are the New York Yankees are going to get embarrassed and humiliated in October? Is it going to be the Astros kicking our butts once again or sweeping us in the ALCS? Why? Because we ain't got our home field advantage? Or are we barely going to make the World Series and get embarrassed worldwide once again in the World Series, man? I'm just bracing myself, man. I'm a diehard Yankee fan. And I'm just bracing myself for the worst, man. But this team, sometimes I ask myself, man, I should just take it down with my fandom. But hey, Keith, by the way, good thing, bro. Good thing you close your gambling app, bro. Because trust me, with the Red Sox series and this series, I was like, oh no, Yankees ain't gonna get swept. Well, that came back and bite me in my ass and in my wallet.
Yeah, no, I'm done. I'm done.
Great weekend, my guy.
You the man, Jonathan. I mean, I feel for you, bro. And I don't know if you guys listen. Jonathan has come here. He's brought his son here. They were at opening day. I got to meet them during the ALDS last year. World Series was tough on all of us, bro. And that's why this is hard, because it's like this was supposed to be a year where they tightened the screws up on this thing. This was supposed to be the year where they pivoted and they added some, NL All-Stars to this team. And they were supposed to be on a warpath to get back to the World Series and avenge that loss. And this team don't look like a World Series team. There's too many holes, and now there's too many injuries. And now there's this weak-ass mentality of we're the Yankees, we're the best team in the league. No, you're not. You haven't played like the best team in the league in a long time. You are what your record says you are. You are what your last game says you are. So, I don't know, man. What I will say is, I've already kind of, man, I've taken so many of these Octobers so hard. October is such a tough month for me. And you guys know from me talking about losing my brother. So if you've ever lost somebody in your life, that anniversary of their death coming up, my brother passed in the middle of October, where, man, I lose sleep. I grieve different. I just always go back to living through those days. And honestly, I remember being at the 2015 wild card game, and I always flex that I threw Kobe Rasmus home run back. And my brother died days after that wild card loss. And so every year, man, it's just heavy hearts and emotions of another baseball season wasted and another year that you get older. That's 10 years ago now. I think about everything when we get to October. I'm not doing it this year, bro. I've grown out of it. I have a kid now. I have other things now. I can't let the New York Yankees who go through the motions and tell you that, this is good, piss on your head and tell you it's raining, when they do ultimately end up in, they're going to make it to October, right? They're going to be in the postseason. But that's not the bar. Making it to the postseason, that's the participation trophy Yankees. You're supposed to win the whole thing. You're supposed to, I had an analogy with someone on Twitter earlier. I was like, the Yankees are the kid that says, yo, don't judge me for my bad grades halfway through the semester. I'm going to get my grades up. Yeah, but it's not about getting your grades up just to pass the courses. You pass with a C minus. You're the Yankees. You have all the resources in the world. You have the best player in the game. You've got all of these fans, home field advantage. You've got the greatest doctors and people that would hook you up with all these different things. Your players have every resource. You have good players. You have this high payroll. You're not supposed to just pass this semester. You're supposed to finish at the top of the class this semester. That's what we expect of you. Let's go to John and Maspeth on the fan. What's up, John?
Jeez, what's up, man? Yeah, so this team, man, it's a roller coaster ride, and a small part of me wants to sell at the deadline. And hear me out on this.
Okay.
We sell at the deadline just for this year, sell the pieces that are going away, Weaver, Williams, Grisham, Goldschmidt, maybe throw in Tim Hill, Loizaga, because relievers can get you a lot on the open market as a trade deadline. Right? We've seen this with Chapman when we got Torres back. We've seen this with Andrew Miller when we got what's his name, Clint Frazier, right? Now, what if we just unload on all these players that are leaving after this year, and maybe one or two for next year, get a bunch of prospects back, and then in the off season, we finally go Death Star, like Cashman said. Use these prospects to just say, let's go call up Cleveland. Let's go all in on Jose Ramirez. Let's go give them an offer they can't refuse.
Thanks for the call, John. We're tight on time. I got 2 more calls left, and I want to respond to that. They'll never do that. One, because Brian Cashman and the New York Yankees believe that the tournament is a crapshoot, that all they have to do is get in the tournament, whether they win the division or a wild card, that all they got to do is get in the tournament, and maybe it's their year. Also, Aaron Judge is in his prime, probably going to win the MVP if he gets hot for a couple weeks and can catch Cal Raleigh. Maybe the Triple Crown will be back there if he can keep his average up. But, like, they're not going to punt at the deadline, sell off in a year where they feel like if we get to the postseason and Aaron Judge doesn't fold, he might be able to carry us. But, I mean, now everybody's intentionally walking him like, I would not let him bat in the postseason, even if he does get hot. It's going to take a team, and they have so many holes in this team. They have so many flaws in this roster construction. And that's the thing, right? The cracks in your armor show. The more battles you go through, the more cracks in your armor show. Let's go to Rich in South Orange on the Fan next. What's up, Rich?
Hey, Keith, 2 points I'd like to make. I think both you and Chris, I listen to you every night, are good Yankee observers. I think the difference is you speak a little bit more for the fan, whereas Chris speaks a little bit more for the organization. But the second point I'd like to make is I think if you're Cleveland and the Yankees, the last caller read my mind, the Yankees make an offer that Cleveland can't refuse, and that is you get your choice. 2 out of 3. Dominguez, Lombard, or Jones for Ramirez. I think the Indians would benefit by that because their window is not even open. They're not going anywhere anytime soon. And the Yankees are in a win now mode. And the Yankees would get Ramirez on a good contract. So let me know your feelings, and thanks for taking the call.
Thanks for the call, Rich. Yeah, it is funny. Like, Big Mac does defend the organization a lot. I don't know why. I mean, I get it. And Big Mac is great. He makes great points. He's a great baseball fan. He's a little bit older than me, too. So, like, he's lived a different Yankee fandom. But, like, I don't know. I speak as a fan, and I guess for the fans, because I talk to fans. Like, it's no reason. Like, we're trying to win. We're trying to and not just win games, not just win 90 games, not get to the postseason. We're trying to win a World Series. We want to win a championship, have a parade. Then you'll see how many Yankee fans there actually are and how strong this fan base is. But anyway, Jose Ramirez to me is just not a real thing. Jose Ramirez signed a steal of a deal. Jose Ramirez, I wouldn't trade if I'm the Guardians, not the Indians. I wouldn't trade him for anything because he wanted to be there. That is the face of their franchise. That is their guy. And they do have a couple other pieces, guys like Steven Kwan. Like, they're not, why would they trade him to the Yankees? It might not be their year this year, but they were just in the ALCS last year. They're not trading. Why would they trade Jose Ramirez? He's not forcing a trade. I don't see it. His name comes up all the time. Yeah, the Yankees need a third baseman. So all of you immediately point to the guy in the American League starting at third base in the All-Star game, Jose Ramirez. He's not going to ever be a Yankee. And if he is, I hope I'm dead wrong. But, like, I don't think there's any trade package that the Guardians would be interested in this year to send him to the Bronx. Last call of the night goes to Joe and Merrick on the Fan. What's up, Joe?
Hey Keith, I would ask how you're doing, but you're a Yankee fan like me, so your head is probably spinning with anger and confusion after what just happened.
Yeah, it sucks. It's not fun. This whole stretch has been trash.
You know, like up into these games, I would think of George Springer. I would think of the guy that ran into another outfielder, had a concussion, had that stupid look on his face while the base is unloaded and they get kicked out of the playoffs. Now, when I think of George Springer, I have to think of 7 for 14 with 11 RBI and 2 home runs. I mean, but this is what the Yankees do. We make crappy pitchers look like aces, like Cy Young, and we make whatever average position players look like Cal Ripken Jr. I mean, that was terrible. And then yesterday, the monumental comeback from 8-0, and then we lose on a pass ball. Are you serious? I wish we just lost 8-0.
I said they bring you up just to power bomb you on your neck.
Just like the World Series, exactly.
Yep.
I mean, where's the catcher? All the championship teams, I remember, there was Posada or Girardi, and now, I mean, Escara is an Uber driver. Uber is my second job. I could be the catch. Or Wells can't hit, and Rice is just not a catcher. He can't throw guys out, and the pass ball thing was terrible, So we got swept in 4 games against Toronto.
And they can't get swept against the Mets, or all hell is going to break loose. And it's going to be bad for the next homestand. Look at Katie Sharp right now. In the last 20 games, the Yankees 14 losses, 159 runners left on base. It's the first time since 1990 that they've had any 20-game stretch with 14 losses, 159 runners left on base. Don't tell me that this is just baseball. Don't tell me that they're the best team in the league. That's wrong. Incorrect. False. Stop making stuff up, man. Everybody's just using actual facts and numbers. All right, Al Cintrone's coming up next. Everybody have a good 4th of July weekend. Thanks for listening to my show. Keith McPherson out of here.
Sports Radio 101.9 FM.
All right, Joe. I got to.